Hello and welcome to episode 1 of GTA 5 Top Gear. Feel free to take a look around the studio as I tell you what to expect across the next 6 weeks. Over these 6 episodes, we'll be racing limos to quad bikes and taking part in various inconclusive challenges like racing a pedal bike and a boat. But in this episode, we decide on the ultimate supercar, starting off by taking a look at the Adder in its road test, and then meeting its competitors before concluding which is my favourite out of the 3. Then we race that car against a fighter jet. But before we do that, let's see how our first supercar, the Adder, gets on with our road test. The Adder. Once the epitome of the supercar, now often forgot about. But why was it loved so much originally? Well, this car started off as one of the very few supercars available, so naturally everyone flocked to it as they were dazzled by the large price tag and status that the car gave you. Nowadays though, it lacks the cutting edge design and aggression of its competitors. One thing it still has though, its speed. We can't forget that not so long back, this was the fastest car in the world. It doesn't lose that speed, it still handles impeccably around corners at high speeds and never fails to get you from A to B. But does its power make up for what it lacks in modern style? Well, we thought we should take it to the runway to test exactly how good this thing is. At £1 million you'd still expect it to do a job. Let's see what sort of job that is. This thing is quick. It keeps turning difficult corners into easy straights. I've never actually been in something with so much grip. It gobbles up every inch of the track with ease, and there's absolutely no spinning out of control with this car. I can't believe it. It combines incomprehensible speed with mind-blowing control. I can see why people flock to it so quickly. You get an understanding of this car's personality. But now with many other options available, seeing this car on the road is a rarity. The Adder makes driving leisurely and there's no need to fight with it every time you go around a corner. Some would say, but where's the fun in that? Well, the fun is from cruising. Yes, it doesn't have flames firing out the back. It certainly does not have lasers for windscreen wipers either. But despite all this, it can still drift very well. In fact, incredibly well around these corners. However, I can't help but feel it misses out in the design department. It missed an opportunity to be futuristic and aggressive. But saying that, aggression isn't really in the Adder's nature at all. So what is an alternative to this car? Let's find out. This is your alternative. Now of course the Adder is very charming and powerful, but also available to us is the Reaper. This is known mainly for being a little bit more stylish and show-offy than the Adder, and of course that is reflected in its incredible looks. It has a huge spoiler on the back, flames fire out from behind it. It is an amazing car, and boasts these huge speakers in the front next to you. However, it's not much of a city vehicle. That's one of my pet hates about supercars. You're stuck in traffic all the time, preventing you from reaching their maximum speeds. So, with some clever camera editing and some fancy different camera angles, we can make it speed up a little. But how does this thing drive? Well, actually its control is pretty good, although the occasional overtake does result in unexpected consequences. One of those consequences is, well, this crash here. But in general, this car is very nice to drive and has decent handling. My only problem with it is the price. In fact, the price of the Reaper and the Adder, they're both over £1 million. So is there a cheaper alternative that possesses the same style and power? Now, we've spent a long time searching for the perfect supercar, something a bit more affordable while still possessing supercar qualities. And, well, this might be it. This is the Zentorno. The Zentorno has an exotic and aggressive feel to it. Its hexagonal vent located on the back will leave all those you overtake in awe of this thing's beauty. And yes, it ticks the box for flames coming out the back. At $725,000 you could buy 2 of these and still have over $100,000 spare to spend, for the price of 1 Reaper. It's a no-brainer. Although this car is my favourite sounding out of the 3 tested so far, it does have some negatives, one of which is it lacks innocence. Oh, and it has a low front bumper as well. Yes, it's great for style and general showing off, but you really can't be taken seriously in this. It's almost too over the top for a supercar, and it's certainly in the Lamborghini's category. But which of these 3 should you buy? Well, let's find out. Thank you. Now, as you may have guessed, my favourite supercar is the Adder. It's the perfect blend of speed and control, and although it doesn't look as spectacular as the Zentorno or Reaper, you can still use it in the city, or on a motorway, on dirt tracks, or, if you've got one, on an airport runway. But if I was choosing the supercar forgetting about its practical use, I'd go for the Zentorno. It's an incredible price for what you get, especially given how expensive the Reaper is. But now we must do the ultimate test. We must test this Adder against a fighter jet to see which is the fastest. Of course, I will be driving the Adder, but that only leaves one man to drive the fighter jet. It's not the Stig, it's the Stig's fighter jet pilot cousin. This is the race of the century. We've got a fighter jet up against the Adder, my favourite supercar of the three that we've tested. Let's find out how we get on. Just to clarify, the fighter jet must remain on the runway, and obviously, as you can see, it jets off quite literally from the starting point. The Adder lagging behind here, and the jet really does get very close to the end already. After just a few seconds of driving, it's already nearly ready to turn around, but of course that is where the fighter jet will lose time. It has to try and manoeuvre itself round, whilst the Adder just about misses the jet and swings round nicely. So as the Adder races into the lead dramatically, we do now have a final few hundred metres for this jet to try and catch up. Which is going to win though? Will it be the Adder or will it be the fighter jet, which is clearly gaining on the Adder? We're very close to the finish line. Will it overtake? It's too close and across the line. The Adder has done it. And with that, back to the studio. Oh my days. How close was that? Unbelievable. What a race between the Adder and a fighter jet. Now, sadly, that is all we've got for you guys today. Join us next week. We're going to be doing some incredible challenges next week. We've got a pedal bike against a boat in a challenge which will determine which is the best form of alternative transport. And don't forget to join us at the same time next week. And thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next week for another episode. Thank you for watching, and good night.